Hello friends, this is Aiza. I'm a certified Keto coach focused on metabolic health, and today I want to talk about one of the most controversial nutrition studies in history, the 7-country study, and how it completely changed the way the world thinks about fat. So let's go back for a moment. It is the 1940s to 1950s, right after World War II, and something alarming started happening in the United States. Heart disease begins to rise rapidly, heart attacks are becoming more common, and doctors are trying to understand why. Then in 1955, one of the events shocks the entire country. So the President of the United States, Eisenhower, had a heart attack. So this was a huge moment. People were asking, how is it even possible? So the president has access to the best doctors, the best care, and this still happens. Around that same time, a new idea starts gaining attention, what became known as the diet heart hypothesis. So the idea was that saturated fat raises cholesterol, and cholesterol leads to heart disease. So to test this idea, researcher Ansel Keys launched a large international study known as 7-country study. It officially began in 1958 and followed around 12,000 men from 7 countries, including the US, Finland, Italy, Greece, Yugoslavia, Finland, and Japan. So researchers looked at what people were eating, their cholesterol levels, blood pressure, and then followed them for years to see who developed heart disease. And they found a pattern. So countries with higher saturated fat intake seems to have higher rates of heart disease, while countries like Italy and Greece had much lower rates. So the conclusion became saturated fat is the problem. After the 7-country study, fat was labeled as the enemy. So the message was simple. Fat causes heart disease, so people should eat less of it, and the entire food industry followed it. Suddenly, low fat became the goal, products were reformulated, guidelines changed, and people were told to avoid foods that humans had eaten for decades, like butter, full-fat dairy, eggs, saturated meat. But when fat was removed from the food, it didn't just disappear. It had to be replaced with something, and what it was replaced often was sugar, refined carbohydrates, processed ingredients, and all of this make food taste good again. At the same time, these foods became less satisfying. People felt hungry, they ate more often, and their blood sugar levels were constantly spiking. Insulin stayed elevated, and the body shifted towards storing more fat instead of burning it. And this is exactly when we start to see change in the data. Look at this graph. So 1960, obesity rate was at 13%. 1990, it's 23%. In 2023, more than 40% of obesity rate. So from the 1960s to today, obesity rate didn't just increase, they just tripled if you look at this graph. Over time, 7-country studies started getting more and more criticism. So researchers began asking why only those 7 countries were included, and also this kind of study doesn't prove cause and effect, it only shows connection. So there were a lot of important factors that weren't fully considered during that study, like smoking, sugar intake, stress, and how active people were. For example, even President Eisenhower, whose heart attack shocked the whole country back in 1955, he was a heavy smoker. He used to smoke like 4 packs of cigarettes every day. And today we know that smoking is a major risk factor for heart disease, but that wasn't really the main focus during that 7-country study. And then as years went by, something didn't quite add up. Even though people were told to eat less fat, obesity and type 2 diabetes kept going up. So naturally, people started asking questions. Maybe fat wasn't the whole problem. Today, we understand things much better in nutrition world. Instead of blaming just one thing like saturated fat, more experts are now looking at the bigger picture. how your metabolism works, how your body handles insulin and blood sugar, and your overall lifestyle. And that's exactly this type of approach, like keto, focus on reducing carbohydrates and improving how your body use energy, not just avoiding it. So your body actually needs healthy fats to function properly. Fats help build hormones, support your brain, and give you steady, long-lasting energy. So when you include healthy fats in your diets like olive oil, avocado, butter, eggs, you feel more satisfied, your energy is more stable, and you are not constantly hungry. And that's exactly the idea behind the keto is. Instead of feeding fat, you use it as your main fuel, helping your body switch from burning sugar to burning fat more efficiently. On this channel, I share how you can increase your energy by applying keto diet, along with the latest research and data from the keto world. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel, press the like button, and stay up to date with the latest posts. That's all I wanted to share for today. Wishing you the best and lots of energy.